You're walking through a dungeon, in any game, not just Morrowind, and you find a really powerful, one-time use item. You know it'll probably come in handy down the line, but we all know you're never going to use it. That's the RPG curse. Don't use the best items because you might need them later. Later never comes. Morrowind has scrolls. Magic scrolls. You can find them as random loot in chests, urns, and crates, on defeated enemies, and you can even buy them from vendors. Except for utility scrolls like teleports, I've never bothered using any scrolls. To force myself to actually use scrolls for once, we'll be role-playing a sharp-tongued Imperial with no actual talent beyond talking people up and getting good deals. And we'll be leveraging our bargain-finding prowess to beat the game with only magic scrolls. Except at the end when I have to use Thunder and Keening. You know how it is. Oh, it's Bryan Cranston. Can you beat Morrowind as a Breaking Bad? For our major skills, we'll be taking speechcraft and mercantile to bring down the cost of scrolls from merchants, and we'll also be taking athletics and acrobatics for quicker movement. And unarmored because I only need the first 4 skills, so it doesn't matter. The minor skills are arbitrary, except alchemy. I picked that just so I'd have at least 15 so I can see potion effects. Favorite attributes are personality and luck. As far as I'm aware, stats don't affect scrolls, but personality and luck affects interactions with NPCs, so that's what we're going with. And the stealth specialization will give us a few more levels in speechcraft, mercantile, and acrobatics, and it'll help them level a bit faster. For more personality, we'll pick the lady sign, giving us a whopping 85 personality to start with. And to make things a bit more challenging, no stealing, and no creeper or mudcrab merchant. This will keep us from rolling in the gold immediately at the start, both making mercantile more valuable, and forcing me to be a bit more conservative with the scrolls I use. Since we won't be using enchanted items, we can give Fargoth his ring back. Doing this increases our disposition with Arrol, which gets us better deals in his shop. 13 gold for a bottle and a vase. My god, we're rich. Our best bet is to go to Balmora, what a surprise, join the Mages Guild, and take the supplies they offer in their chest from each of the guild halls.
What do you want, Outlander?
We won't actually be using our own magicka during this run, so we can sell all the potions. The books aren't worth much, but it's better than nothing. And the scrolls are, well, they're scrolls. We can use those. Probably won't need the Cure Disease scrolls, though. There's a random element to what scrolls the Mages Guild's vendors carry, but Tanar Lurvy in Alderaan always carries Restocking, Mark, and League Step scrolls. Why is the Recall scroll called League Step, and not just Recall? Dunno. Probably a holdover from Dungeons and Dragons or something. So we sell off a bunch of potions and return to Balmora. Galbadir usually has some good scrolls, and like most scroll merchants, she's willing to buy a bunch of random crap. I don't know why scroll merchants buy everything, except alchemy supplies. They don't buy alchemy supplies. It's odd, but I'm not complaining. Well, I guess I kinda am. From her, I'm gonna buy Scrolls of Drathis Winter Guest, haggling down to 50 gold from 55. If you're curious, the way you level up mercantile is actually scaled by the quote-unquote strength of your haggle. Unlike magic, where any strength spell gives you the same amount of XP, a bigger deal in your favor grants more XP in mercantile. The size of the deal is measured by how large of a percentage the sale is from what the merchant was requesting. Getting 100 coins off a 1,000 coin sale won't give as much XP as 10 coins off a 20 coin sale. For instance, your ability to successfully haggle is based on an equation. Personality, mercantile level, disposition, fatigue. I just press the plus and minus button until the merchant accepts the offer. I bought 9 winter guests and 4 Teldam Scorchers, and then I ran out of money. I'm leaning more on the frost spells because Dunmer have an innate 75% fire resist, and a lot of the enemies in Morrowind are Dunmer, for some odd reason. Why could that be? When a spell costs 50 coins to cast, every point of damage the enemy shrugs off eats into my stack of gold, so frost it is, unless I'm fighting a Nord. Then I'd want to use fire. Let's jump right into the main quest, Arkingthand, outside of which is our first enemy, Old Snowy Granius. A tricky thing about these scrolls is because they cast instantly, it's really easy to waste these touch scrolls by clicking when slightly out of range of your enemy. You can blow through these scrolls damn near as fast as you can click, so be careful with them. Pardon me, Crito. Our next quest is grave robbing. We don't need to fight anyone, or anything, for this quest either, just grab the skull and run. I'm also taking the dagger and this book because I can sell them. The dead can't read, and that book is a skill book, so it's worth quite a bit. Gonna restock at Galbadir before dropping this skull off to Sharn, and then buy more scrolls of Mark and League Step from Tanar. The next set of orders we get from Caius requires us to be level 3. Usually I'm not bottlenecked by this requirement since I'd kill stuff in Arkingthand and in the Andrano Ancestral Tomb, specifically to get XP so I could level up, but for this run, that just wastes scrolls, so I didn't bother. Fortunately, speechcraft and mercantile are pretty easy to level up, but there's actually a quest just outside Vivek that awards you with some mercantile education. You can get up to 5 levels depending on how you complete the quest. If you raise his disposition high enough, or just have a high personality to begin with, Tino's Drothan will tell you that the people he hired to guard him and his shipment of raw glass ran off with all his goods. If we get his stuff back and kill Alvar Hlaren and Dondir, he'll teach us some of the tricks of the trade. Simple enough. The thieves are holed up to the southeast in a cavern called Bashara. There's more than just the two, of course. We'll have to fight our way through the caverns until we find the guards and the goods. Dead before he hits the ground. Ugh, sucks when they hold on with a couple hit points left. It feels like a waste of a scroll. So this guy's hucking fireballs. Let's try Elemental Burst Frost. I bought a couple of these when I was back in town. 40 to 65 points of frost damage for 1 second on the target, plus another 0 to 5 points for 5 seconds, both within 15 feet of the target. Pretty strong AoE, all things considered. Still require 2 scrolls to kill him though. I'm gonna take his robes. Maybe not. No more Teldam Scorchers. Would have been nice to use on this non-Dunmer. Oh, and I only had 1 Winter's Guest left. Out of combat scrolls. Maybe there's something in these crates? Nope. Gold, bread, bowls. Jesus, who the hell is this now?
Hold still.
And a third guy. Oh, damn it. Excuse me, fellas.
I'll make this quick.
Let's drop a mark right here and return to town to buy more scrolls. There's gotta be a scroll merchant in the temple, right? Ah, Landris Thorandus. You know, I never realized just how many Dunmer have the double L's in their name. That's a Welsh thing, yeah? I'm sure it's not actually pronounced Landris, but I believe that specific phoneme isn't present in English. The voiceless alveolar lateral fricative, if I'm not mistaken. Llandris. Llandris. Yeah, I don't actually know Welsh. I know the way I pronounced that word might have misled you. How surprising. Oh, this asshole doesn't have any offensive scrolls. How's about Ebonheart? This guy's doing the funky chicken. He probably sells scrolls. He does indeed. Let's buy some scrolls of Grey Death. Drain health 10 to 30 points for 5 seconds. Alright. I don't get it. It says 10 to 30 points for 5 seconds. So the spell should do at least 50 points of damage over those 5 seconds. Surely these enemies don't have hundreds of points of health. Yeah, this ain't gonna work. Let's sell these scrolls back to this guy, what a brilliant investment, and buy more Winter Guest scrolls from Tanara Lurvy. They're way better. Cheaper too. Oh, look at that. So much easier. Ah, the Bosmer was Dondir, and the Dark Elf was Hlaren. Now we just need to find the glass. Ooh, skill book. That's a good bit of gold right there. And here's the glass in this locked chest. Wonderful. Back to Tinos. We need 4 skill ups to get level 3, so this quest should be enough. For assisting in his conspiracy to commit murder as a form of vigilante justice, he teaches us the tricks of his trade and we gain 5 mercantile levels, letting us ascend to... okay, I guess quest granted level ups don't count as skill ups for a full character level. God damn it. I guess I'll do what I should have done in the first place. Schmoozin' in Balmora. Leveling speechcraft is pretty easy since OpenMW, I think it's OpenMW that does this, adds hotkeys to interfaces. I can spam the E key and open the persuasion menu and admire the NPC over and over again. Of course, you can't just do this blindly because there's the risk of their disposition dropping really low if you fail the skill check too many times in a row, and when their disposition is at 0, it's a lot harder to admire them. I've noticed with high enough speechcraft and personality, you typically hover around 60 disposition for a lot of merchants when spam admiring. I don't know how the skill checks are calculated behind the scenes, but I assume it's some kind of a bell curve. Failure is more common on the tails, so if someone hates you, admiring them is likely to make them hate you more, and if they really like you, admiring them will make them think you're just trying to butter them up. And they're right, that's exactly what I'm doing. There we go. Time to level up and move on with the main quest. That Tino's diversion was a total waste of time. Caius wants us to go to Vivek and talk to Hulia. Adhere, and Mercantile. Being level 3 for this quest was important because it's important. Definitely gotta be careful not to hit any bystanders with these scrolls. Finish them off, Julia. Good job. Let's get to Jobasha's bookshop. Because we aren't allowed to steal in this run, we're gonna have to pay Jobasha for a copy of the Progress of Truth. 135 septums. Could have bought 3 Winter Guest scrolls for that price. It hurts. It's a shame there's no way to speechcraft the taxman before meeting with Adhere, get him to leave Vivek so we don't have to go back and forth between him and the sewer cat. I know in the Morrowind speedrun that does the entire main quest, all you do is kill this guy and pay the 1000 gold fine, but I don't want to spend that much money just to save, what, a minute? Can you imagine a world where murder is a finable offense? Murder is illegal if you have the money to cover it. In a world like that, there'd probably be a murder as a service where you pay the cost of the fine up front, plus a time and labor fee and, a service fee and profit and that whole thing, just so there's decent margins. In fact, in that world, they'd probably skip the fines altogether and create a guild of hitmen of sorts, where writs of execution are officially recognized by the judicial system. Sort of like a slip of paper saying the cost of the bounty has already been covered by the individual who placed the hit on the target, so don't even bother arresting the hitman. This is basically what the Morag Tong is, if it wasn't clear. Before talking to Mercantile, I want to pop into the Telvanni Canton and see what scrolls Audenian Valius has. There are certain scrolls in the game that can show up as restocking items in certain vendor shops. There's no way to know, as far as I know, which vendor has those scrolls, but there is apparently a way to reset their stocks by saving and reloading, but that feels exploity, so I'm not going to do it. Audenian here has a chance to carry scrolls of Windform, or Windwalker. They have 2 names, but they do the same thing. A 500-point levitate scroll. It also comes with 60 seconds of invisibility, but we don't care about that. He didn't have it this time around, but he does carry a variety of offensive scrolls. He'll be worth coming back to when we get more cash to spend. I'll buy 5 scrolls of Drathis' Soul Rot. Paralyzed for 5 seconds, 15 to 45 points of poison for 5 seconds, and 0 to 50 points of damage, endurance, and willpower for 1 second, all untouched. There's also Uth's Hand of Heaven, 50 points of levitate for 30 seconds. Not as good as Windform, but much easier to find. We'll buy some of those too.
What words do you have for me, citizen?
Yeah, alright. With the intel collected and now in the hands of Caius, he sends us off to meet with an Ashlander turned traitor over in Aldrun. For Hassauer Zain Subani, who I just realized now is Zain Subani, not Zain Subami. Anyway, to get him, our informant, to tell us about the Ashlanders, normally you'd have to give him a thoughtful gift in the form of a book of poetry. But if you raise his disposition above 80, he accepts your effort to get him a gift as the gift itself. No book needed. Off to the Urshulaku camp.
You will suffer greatly.
Oh, that took a while. I'm surprised I wasn't attacked sooner. Now that I'm at the camp, I'm actually going to drop a mark here and return to town. I want to sell the Dark Brotherhood armor and stock up on scrolls before I head into the Urshulaku burial caverns. I'm buying more Teldam Scorchers from Gelbadir because I suspect the skeletons down in the caverns are resistant to frost damage. They might not be, but if they aren't resistant to frost, then they're probably not also resistant to fire. I'll buy some scrolls of Red Death from Tenar Lurvi as well. Absorb 5 to 25 points of health for 5 seconds on touch. These sorts of effects count as magicka damage, not elemental damage, so it bypasses any elemental resistances an enemy might have, but not their magicka resistances because it's magicka. But I also get a heal from it too. And it's also safer to use absorb health spells on enemies that could reflect spells back at you. We'll talk about that later. Reflected damage is gonna be a problem. Back at the Urshulaku camp, if we boost Zabamun's disposition high enough, we don't have to pay him 200 gold to speak with Sulmatul. 200 gold is 4 winter guests, so I'm willing to save what I can, wherever I can. And when we talk to Sulmatul, he tells us to get the Bonebiter Bow of Sul Senapul from the Wraith of Sul Senapul at the end of the Urshulaku burial caverns. There's something very rhythmic about the Bonebiter Bow of Sul Senapul. I like it. Every goddamn time. Where are these caves? I don't actually need to kill any of the skeletons in here, obviously. It's just the ghost at the end I need to kill. But killing the skeletons just before the ghost makes fighting the ghost safer. You won't have a bunch of skellies pelting you with arrows. But if I can make it to the ghost and kill it quick enough, then the skeletons shouldn't matter. Just in time. Here are the Skelly boys. I think they've got a bone to pick with me. I'll not stick around for very long though. I've got a bow to deliver, but deliver like like liver. It's not a bone pun, but it's still anatomy. You see, with the initiation rites sorted, we're now a clan friend of the Ursulaku, and Nabani Mesa unloads a bunch of Nerevar information onto us, which we relay back to Caius back in Balmora, who sends us off to deal with Dagoth Gares in Ilunibi outside of Narmok. Wow, these ash slaves aren't very sturdy, are they? Gotta say, the AoE's pretty satisfying. Oh, that was abrupt. And now we're infected with Corpus. More interestingly, though, are the Gauntlets of Randagulf. We can't use them for anything, but they're worth 35k each. The question is, where do we actually sell them if not Creeper or the Mudcrab Merchant? I made an arbitrary rule that we can't use them. Who has enough gold to make this sale even somewhat worth it? Probably someone in Mournhold, but at that point, I might as well just use Creeper, right? So what are we gonna do? Well, we can go to different scroll vendors and enchanters to unload the cheaper bits of loot from Ilunibi, the 6th House Hammer, the Dagoth Amulets, the Glass Boots, and we can stock up on various offensive scrolls. But most of the scrolls are so cheap that I can't buy enough of the vendor's stock to sell even one of the gloves without losing out on a ton of gold. There's another vendor I haven't gone to in Vivec in the Foreign Quarter who has quite the variety of scrolls. Miungay sells Drathis' Soul Rot, Ilnea's Breath, Red Death, Ninth Barrier, Hellfire, and Tinner's Hoptoad, but only costs about 7k for all this, and one gauntlet sells for around 25k. So I just bought his entire stock of scrolls for a gauntlet and 1.5k. Then I waited a day for his gold to replenish and sold all the scrolls that I didn't need, while also buying more of the combat and utility scrolls I do want. Now that I have a bit of extra gold, I'm gonna buy more elemental burst scrolls from Janand Malini. It didn't seem this way when I wrote it, but now that I'm saying it, it sounds like a Morrowindified John Mulaney. Janand Malini. She's in the Vivec Mages Guild. These elemental burst scrolls cost about 120 septims each, but it's definitely worth it because it's a very powerful spell with a wide area of effect. Time to cure our Corpus. Off to Telfir. Oh, that's annoying. So, Tinner's Hoptoad. It's nice to be able to jump really far, but the slow fall effect triggers at the apex of the jump, basically killing your momentum. Not worth using. If the slow fall strength was 1 point, maybe it'd be better, but 80 points of slow fall is a bit excessive. I've been told there's an odd quirk with Corpus. Every day you have Corpus, it worsens, increasing your strength and endurance by 1 point and decreasing your intelligence, willpower, personality, and speed by 1 point. After you get it cured, the drained stats are replenished, but your boosted stats, strength and endurance, remain boosted. You can exploit this to get a huge amount of strength and endurance. I can't say for sure if this is intended or not, I doubt it is, but even if it is intended, Bethesda probably didn't expect you to wait around for hundreds of days reaping the benefits of slowly transforming into a malformed abomination. It wouldn't matter much for this run. I guess the extra strength would allow me to carry more scrolls and I'd be able to run a little bit faster, I guess. I'm not gonna do it though, it feels like an exploit to just wait around and do that.
A visitor? What brings you to visit Yagram Bagar, Mastercrafter, and Last Living Dwarf?
Those are unused voice lines you can find in the game files, by the way. Honestly, he sounds exactly the way I thought he would sound. I'm still gonna call him Yagram Bagar. Corpus cured, and then Caius gives us his clothes. And we're off to rescue Maramilo from the Ministry of Truth. Somebody left a comment on an earlier video asking why the Dunmer don't just mine the entire massive Bar Dao while it's frozen in place so it wouldn't be a problem when Vivec releases it. Well, they did mine some of it, that's why it's full of tunnels. It's less that the rock is being held in place in the air, and it's more that it's been frozen in time. All the pieces mined out of the rock, wherever they ended up, would probably jettison in random directions, regaining their momentum, the momentum they would have had if they were still attached to the bigger piece, causing a ton of chaos. That said, even if Vivec could do that, they wouldn't. They value the rock as a symbol of their power. Vivec keeps it there as a threat to the Dunmer. Whether it's an actual threat, or it's simply them playing off their lack of power to actually get rid of the thing, is anyone's guess. Regardless, if it were so simple as mining the thing away completely, then it should be no problem for Vivec to do with their divine powers. That they never bothered doing it either means it's not possible, or Vivec wants it to stay put. The point is, there's nothing they can do about it. If there was something they could do about it, Vivec would have done something about it. The fact that they didn't either means Vivec is unable to, or Vivec doesn't want to. Pfft, idiots can't touch me. Come on, just try. You can't do it, can you?
You will be disgraced for this.
Yep, that's me. You might be wondering. Let's just levitate this time rather than jumping. A scroll of divine intervention? I don't know, Mara. I'm not all that fond of scroll magic. I might have one lying around though. Like Mara, we teleport to Ebonheart and take the boat to Hulamayan and get a bunch of books from the dissident priests to bring back to Nabani Mesa. My mark spot's been waiting at the Urshulaku camp this whole time, so getting back is no problem at all. We fulfilled the first 2 parts of the Nyarvarian prophecy, but Sulmatul likes to keep his secrets and won't tell us what we need to do to fulfill the 3rd part of the prophecy unless we go off to Cogran and get him a cup, a shield, and some sloughed off skin, I guess. What are corpus weepings anyway? Is it like scabs? Hardened pus? The flesh of a dead god made mortal? So I have some summon skeleton scrolls here for some reason. Oh, well, that's a tongue twister. I should really read these things out loud before I record them. So yeah, the skeleton. I've never bothered with summons in Morrowind, but we could still see how it fares. Distract him while I steal his shit. God damn reflect. I'm just gonna assume higher level summons are more effective. Squidface is optional, but why not give it a try? Cogran is really a great place to test how a build is shaping up. There's a good variety of enemies. Ash Slaves, Ash Ghouls, Dreamers, Atronachs, Bone Lord, and Ash Vampire. I think there's a clan fair somewhere around here as well. Yeah, these slow burn restoration scrolls really aren't the best for mid-combat triage. The Red Death scroll isn't the most powerful. Absorb health 5 to 25 points for 5 seconds, a total of 25 to 125 damage, 75 on average. The benefit of it, however, is that if the effect is reflected, you just absorb your own health. So neither you nor the enemy take any damage. Can you imagine if it absorbed your health and gave it to the reflector? That'd be brutal. I need to find those doors with all the glass equipment behind them. That's a lot of scrolls just sitting behind a locked door. Oops, nope, wrong door. Just passing through Ash Slave, fret not, I'll close the door behind me. I know how drafty these strongholds can be. Ah, the loot. What do you think this guy's story is? Has Sulmatul been sending countless adventurers to their deaths? Or was this just some treasure hunter? I wonder the same thing about all the dead people in the Ash Vampire Citadels. How the hell did they get there? Taldam's Scorcher would work great on Frost Atronachs, I assume, but it's a touch scroll, and he's over there, and I'm over here. So let's just ignore... well, fine, Elemental Burst, fire. Goddamn reflect. How the hell are you supposed to play this game as a mage? Alright, I'm just gonna dodge its spells until it's out of magicka. Now's my chance. Oh, did not expect frost damage to be that effective against a fire Atronach. For some reason I was thinking there was a Pokemon-esque type effectiveness among the Atronachs. Shock on fire, fire on ice, ice on shock. Maybe there is, but it's reversed. Fire on shock, shock on ice, ice on fire. Well no, that'd be stupid because fire should be super effective on ice. Maybe they're just immune to their own type. Are Bone Walkers weak to fire? They seem like they'd be weak to fire. What are the Ash Vampires weak to? I would think they'd resist fire since I'm pretty sure they're all Dark Elves. But Taldam's Scorcher seems effective enough. Elemental Burst Frost is strong too. They don't seem to have a reflect effect, thank Talos. Somehow less of a problem than Atronachs. Now where's that shield? Ah, here's where we're supposed to be. Grab the Daedric Gauntlets for some easy gold, and the shield. Now let's get the hell out of here because I'm being tailed by 2 Atronachs and a Noodle Snoot. Too slow, dickhead. The third trial is entering the Cavern of the Incarnate and putting on the Ring of Moon and Star, a blessed ring given to Nerevar that will kill the wearer if they aren't worthy of wearing it. Makes me think that Azura has no idea who the Incarnate is, which is weird because you'd think she'd know exactly who the Incarnate is, unless the Incarnate isn't actually Nerevar reborn, but is just somebody who checks all the boxes of what the Incarnate would be. Walk like them until they must walk like you, I guess. Before we head off to the Grazelands, let's do some shopping. There's an enchanter in Aldrun, Lether Vari, another scroll vendor with the double L in his name. Interesting. He has a restocking supply of elemental burst scrolls of each damage type. Certainly worth getting a few. He's also got a decent gold supply of 2,000 septums. I'll buy heals, barriers, and damaging spells just to boost how much gold he's actually carrying. That way I can sell him these Daedric Gauntlets and get more value out of him. I don't mind losing some value though. Definitely want to load up on these Scrolls of Red Death. Scroll of Lord Maha's Vengeance. Gives you a whole set of bound equipment for 60 seconds. I guess I'll buy some. You know, I think this is good enough. Almost 250 burst scrolls should keep me covered until the end of the game. On our way to the cavern, we're going to stop by Talmora and buy a set of exquisite clothes from Ellie's shop. and a shirt, shoes, and pants for ourselves. Looking snazzy. The hat pulls it all together. The Nerano ancestral tomb is on the way to the piss-off Nick's house, the Cavern of the Incarnate, and I'm expecting my coterie of magic will make quick work of the vampire Calvario within. Ah, damn. I should have used fire spells instead of shock. Oh, look. They died in the same way. How sweet. Alright, the Cavern of the Incarnate is over there, and I'm gonna wait for dusk right here, so I don't have to kill stuff before I can wait in front of the door, because I'll probably run into some sort of critter while I'm walking over there.
You're beaten.
Oh, wow. He rocketed to the ground. Let me just follow. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I'm fine. Something funny about an assassin crying for help.
A new hand.
No, Meridia, wrong game. Because we have high personality, we can skip the gift giving with the Zainab ashtray and get right down to the vampire killing, but Calvar is already dead, so we just gotta get him a Telvanni bride. I forgot to get Bug Musk the last time I was in Aldrun. I'm sure there are other places to buy it, but Cian Sintiev has a large stock of the stuff, and it'd feel wrong to leave her out of a video. Thanks, Cian. I appreciate you. Since we're here in Scar, we might as well get the Redoran Hortator stuff sorted. That seemed like it would sound coherent when I wrote it down, but it didn't. Redoran Hortator. No combat involved in this, although I did use a scroll of Ondusi's Unhinging to rescue Ethan Serethi's son from Venom Manor, so not very different from a normal run. Serethi, Lethri, Morvain, Remoran, Arobar, with your powers combined, I can murk this Redoran prick. And now that we're in Vivek, we can square away the Hlalu stuff real quick. Crassius wants 1,000 septums, we want hide and seek against Drambaro, so we got his vote. Ingling's vote costs 2k. Money's a bit tighter this run, but it's not so bad that I can't afford to buy influence. Orvis Dren just takes a bit of smooth talk and get him on our side. He allied with Dagoth but with high enough disposition, we can tell him we want to protect Morrowind from the Empire, and that's all it takes to convince him. Getting to the Ulis and Omani Manor is such a slog without the Scroll of Wind form. Wish I found one. Uth's Hand of Heaven is the next best thing. I tried Reynos' Fishy Swimmy Scrolls to see how those compare to 50 points of Levitate. It's not that good. Why swim when you can fly? And now we're the Hlalu Hortator. Time to buy a bridge. Wait. Oh, I misspelled bride. I gotta proofread this shit. So we got the clothes, and we got the Bug Musk. Now we just gotta escort Flora to the Zainab camp. I was gonna question why the owners of this tunnel never bothered filing down these mushroom ribs to make walking through here easier, but then I realized this is a Telvanni structure. These guys don't even believe in stairs. Do I really think they give a damn about level flooring? On the way to the camp, we're going to stop by Telvos and have a chat with Aryan about becoming the Telvanni Hortator. This part of the game is all about raising the counselor's dispositions. Should be easy with this build. Gothrin might still be an issue. I need to be strategic with what scrolls I use while I'm escorting Flora. I have no idea how much health she has, and I don't want to learn what happens if some collateral damage happens to make her aggressive, or kills her. Red Death should be safe. I think, of all the wildlife in Morrowind, Alit are the weirdest. I can't explain why, but I'm sure everyone would agree. Thanks for the thong, Cowshad. So I was thinking about the Telvanni Hortator, and I was wondering why it was so easy to become Hortator, at least compared to Redoran and Hlalu. You don't have to do all that much to convince Nelith, Dratha, and Thorana. At least the Hlalu counselors require some bribes or kisses. But then I realized the Telvanni don't care about politics. They'd make a ham sandwich Hortator if it meant being left alone. The more I think about it, the Hortator part of the main quest is pretty thematic for each house. Redoran ultimately devolves into a fight to the death, a very warrior-like thing to do. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Hlalu is all about how much money you can throw around, which makes sense for a bunch of traders and merchants. That's also why they're so comfortable with Outlanders. Everyone's money is good money. And then there's the Telvanni, who couldn't care less. Hortator is kind of a political position to begin with, sort of the leader of the military. But do you think the Telvanni care about any political hierarchy? A war could break out outside their mushrooms, and as long as no one comes into their mushrooms or messes with their projects and their scholarly business, you think they're gonna give a shit? I kinda wonder why they have counselors at all. You'd think the house wouldn't even exist, they'd just be a disparate group of mages that just kinda maybe sometimes collaborate. I guess they're all unified by the idea that the world is just kill or be killed, and that's what brings them together. And that's why we gotta kill Gothrin. God damn Spell Reflect. Gotta use Red Death. Uh-oh. Okay, so this time the NPCs downstairs didn't attack me. What triggers combat for them? Is it just random? Oh, shit. Thank God he's weak in melee. You know what? Let's paralyze you back with Elnea's breath. Oh man, he resisted the paralysis. Still a lot of damage though. Telvanni Hortator. Onward to become the Ahamusa Naravrine. Hey, Nyx Hound, catch. Christ, I'm a menace. No, yeah, totally. I'll day draw the safe. I cleared it out. I just got back. You know, I think I can kill these guys before the wise woman gets attacked. Whoop, paralyzed.
You will die!
Wait. Oh, god damn it. I aggroed the wise woman too. I swear, Sanamu, this place was safe like a minute ago when I lied to you about it. Screw it. I'm just gonna run through.
Die with honor, coward!
How does it feel when death is near?
Thank you.
I said I would accompany you, bargain hunter, to see if you had made our Daedroth safe for the Ahamusa. You have fulfilled my conditions.
Yeah. The skull-wearing, hammer-wielding maniacs are decorative. It's time to murder people to procure power for the most peaceful members of the Arabanimsum tribe. Ranabi? Dead. Ashu Ahi? Dead. Ulith Pal and Ahaz? Dead and dead. Here you are, Hanamu, the spoils of peace. Last thing we gotta do is return to Aethan Sterethi and be named Redoran Hortator. Now, we're ready to get Wraithguard from Vivek. My last level up. Level 6. Doesn't really matter what stats I allocate. It didn't matter this entire run, actually. I mostly went for strength, speed, and personality with 1 point to luck every level, if you cared to know. Off to Ojasal. This is Endasal. That's Ojasal. Off to Ojasal. I've got plenty of Ondusi's unhinging scrolls so I can skip killing Dagoth Odros and just go up the ladder and take Keening without him knowing. You'd think he'd use better than a level 20 lock. His foolishness deserves punishment. Oh my god, reflect, you motherfucker. Veminal. If you're a magic build, why would you ever use anything but absorb health? What's the benefit to using other schools of magic that not only don't heal you, but also risk killing you outright? Somebody please tell me. I am the god of hellfire, and I bring you fire. Pretty strong scroll, but if it gets reflected, you're screwed.
Come, Nerevar, friend or traitor, come. Come and look upon the heart.
Jesus, that corporate stalker did not deserve that.
Come, bring Wraithguard to the heart chamber.
Yeah, let's just skip these fellas.
Is this how you honor the sixth house and pride unmourned? Come to me openly, and not by stealth.
What are you talking about? I'm as unstealthy as possible right now. Guess I should use some of these strong defensive scrolls. Could be useful, I guess. What about Lord Ma's Vengeance? A bound set of armor could be interesting. I've never used bound armor before, so this is new. Oh, it spawns actual items in your inventory.
Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made. What a fool you are. I'm a god. How can you kill a god? What a grand and intoxicating innocence. Could you be so naive? There is no escape. No recall or intervention can work in this place. Come, lay down your weapons. It is not too late for my mercy.
Once with Sunder. Once with Sunder. Ooh, there we go. And a few stabs with Keening.
You do. What are you full stop? This is the end. The bitter end.
And then perform a strafe run with ice balls. Behold the true power of scroll magic. Yeah. And that's Morrowind with only scrolls, except the Sunder and Keening part at the end. Dude, what the hell?